Hello, I'm Patrick Lloyd, and I'm here in this particular video to show you a little bit about getting started on ALEKS. Since the majority of your work that you submit will come through ALEKS, you want to be sure that you get started on it early and start making progress on it and be very continuously methodical about going through the work throughout the course. Again, this is a very accelerated course. We're only meeting for 6 weeks, so you want to do this as a priority to get through the course. Okay, so let me share the screen here. So this is the syllabus. Okay, you can download this, of course, from Blackboard. And what you'll find is that if you go to, it's the 4th page, you'll find that there's a class code there, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that class code, right? It also appears right here, just underneath there. Okay. Now, the next thing you want to do is you want to go over to aleks.com. There we go, aleks.com, and then go ahead and sign up as a new student. If you have already got an account from taking Chem 100, most people probably haven't. If you haven't, then you can do that. So sign up as a new student. Okay. And then you need to put the class code in here. So I'm just going to paste that in. It's pretty nice, just pastes it automatically. Hit continue. And there we go. All right. So see, it has my name, Patrick Lloyd here. It has the dates, right? Kingsborough Community College, Chemistry 1, section. Ooh, you know what? There's the section number. I have to check that section number. That may not be correct. And then we're talking about the 5th edition here. Okay. So if that's the incorrect edition version, section, don't worry about that. Just as long as it's got my name there and the dates are from December through February, that's fine. Okay. Confirm. And I'll say, no, I haven't used it before. And then we can just put in a name. So we'll put in Queens. Okay, so there's a name. And then you want to put in your email address. Okay, so I'm going to put in here at juno.com. Okay, confirm that. It's your email address you'll want to put in there. And then go ahead and put your CUNY first ID number in there. Go. That'll make it easier for me to assign you grade at the end of the course. And then go ahead and put in oops. Sorry. There we go. Of course, you have to agree to all terms and conditions. Hit continue. And there we go. So then there's the login name. It's typically the first initial of your first name and then your last name. And then typically they also usually put a number at the end. But for this one, they didn't. So let's hit continue. Okay, now here's the situation. If you need to purchase the access code, I recommend doing it through ALEKS. Otherwise, you have to purchase it through the bookstore. But you can also use the financial aid code, which is only good for 2 weeks, right? It's just good for 2 weeks. So eventually you have to buy it. But let me bring that up. There we go. So we're back on the syllabus here. So now on the next page there, you have the financial aid access code. Again, it's only good for 2 weeks. You still have to purchase. You don't lose your work if you don't purchase within 2 weeks, but you can't access it after 2 weeks. Okay, so I'm going to copy that and then come back over here to ALEKS. There we go. And then hit paste on that one. Okay, and that should work. There we go. 2 weeks temporary access that will expire on January 8th. There we go. Okay. So then it's going to run you through tutorials and introductions and stuff like that. Okay, on how to add a class and all of that. So notice here it's got the class already there. So you can access that course right there. And then it's going to tell you to do some things, right? So select the light bulb to toggle tips. Okay, so that's one thing there. And then I'm going to click on this one and see where that goes. That's going to enter your course. Of course, you might have a math class where you use ALEKS as well. ALEKS actually was designed initially for math courses, so it's used throughout the country for math courses. Okay. Talks a little bit about how it works. ALEKS figures out the topics you already know. That's kind of cool. And then helps you take the right path to success. So if you already know something, it doesn't try to get you to do work on it. It's going to give you that annoying warning there. Here's your main menu. So there's always some options up here. Okay, this is the tutorial. Notifications, right? There's your little bell. Those are your notifications that you can get on. And then get started, or sometimes it says continue my path. That little bar right there, that's what you do to do the next thing that is coming up. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing it's going to do, I've done this a few times, it's going to run you through how to use the keyboard and all of that, right? So you'll be doing some mathematical notation, some of the problem solving. So it says in here, using the keyboard, type 14. Correct. And then hit next. Okay. And then how to enter a fraction. It'll have this little divisor, right? So then it wants you to enter in some stuff. Type in a 3 there, right? Good job. Go to the next step. Okay. There's also a progress bar up here. Okay. Now let's say if we're going to edit a chemical equation, it says to put a 3 in there, click on the blue circle. This is for subscripts, right? The subscript button is this one right here. This is how you do subscripts. This one over here is how you do superscripts. So it says enter a 2. So see, you got that 2 there now. And then this one, click on that blue circle. Someone put an issue, sorry. It says press the right arrow. Oh, okay. Yeah, because I didn't click it right. So now hit delete and then type in Mn, right? So it had the wrong element in there. It had potassium instead of manganese, right? Click the blue circle and hit delete and then enter a 4, right? So that's how you can just, toggle around there and enter in information. Okay. So that's, that's how you do the subscript and all of that. Drawing structures. So for example, here, there's a little video, it looks like.
I'm going to show you how to use the ALEKS drawing tool by drawing the small molecule, which I'll keep over here so that we can see it as we go along. Most of our drawing and editing can be done with the pencil tool, which is automatically selected. Let's first draw the carbon skeleton. Click anywhere and drag out the first bond. Notice that a highlight appears at the end of this first bond. This is how we know that we're ready to draw in our next bond. For our second bond, wait for the highlight, click, hold, and drag. I'll draw in the remaining single bonds. At this carbon, we'll need a double bond. I'll draw it just as I would with a pencil by drawing a single bond and another bond along the first bond. Now I need to add some chemical symbols. To do this, I'll click where I want a symbol. A pop-up menu appears and I can select a symbol. I clicked on N by mistake. I can fix this by clicking on the symbol again. When I click on an existing symbol, the drawing tool assumes that I want to replace it with a new one. Notice that the atom symbols in the top row are listed in the same way they appear in the periodic table. Now I can choose the correct symbol O. Let me add an OH group here. I need one more OH group here. Notice that this group needs to be reversed with the H before the O. I can reverse all the groups in the pop-up menu by clicking this toggle. Now I can select the symbol I need. That's it. Our drawing is complete. I did want to mention something important about how ALEKS grades. If I draw a chemically equivalent structure, ALEKS will grade it as correct. Also notice that the bond angles and lengths on these structures are not perfect. That's okay. ALEKS will still grade them as correct. Though your structures do not have to be perfect for ALEKS, you should practice drawing good structures just as you would with paper and pencil. In other videos, we will cover topics such as using the eraser, drawing rings, using the undo tool, adding charges and lone pairs, and adding chemical symbols that are not in the pop-up menu.
There you go. That's pretty cool. So that's something that's been added recently. That's pretty cool. Okay. Now the data sheet, right? So there's a data sheet right up here. So, in chemistry, we use, numbers that we look up sometimes, very frequently, actually. So, so a lot of those numbers are here. So SI prefixes, right? So look, there's all the SI prefixes, when you do problems like that. There's some volume conversions, and these are derived units. Actually, the watt is a kilogram meter squared per second cube, kilogram meter squared per second cube, and so forth and so on. Some volume formulas, like if you have a cylinder, a cube, or a sphere, those sorts of things. Okay, so lots of numbers in there, and that's really cool. Very nice. I recommend using the data table in ALEKS when you're doing calculations if you need a physical constant. Okay, there we go. Let's go to the next one. Now we have the periodic table, which is also a data table, but it's so commonly used, right? So select any cell to learn more about that chemical element. So I'm going to let's pick rubidium. Rubidium, there's your symbol RB, element number 37. There's your atomic mass. It's a main group metal, and the electronegativity value is given as well. Okay, hit the X to get rid of it, to get rid of the whole table right there. So that's awesome. You can use that. The next thing is to use the calculator, which you can use the periodic table with that as well. So click on the blue box, type a 1, hit the division, see how it does the division there. Hit A for constant, right? So it's going to be actually connected to the, A is going to connect it to the periodic table. Okay, so click on the carbon. Okay, look what it did. It took the atomic mass and put it right there. That's really cool. Okay, hit the blue and then hit times and then hit physical constant. The one they want us to do is Avogadro's number. There it is, Avogadro number, N sub A. Okay, so then put it right in there. We're going to use that number. Hit the X to get rid of that, hit equals, and now it does the calculation. You can hit the SCI button to put it into scientific notation. There we go. So that's in the form that we typically use, right? Times 10 to the X. And there we go. So there's the end of that tutorial. And now it's going to congratulate you. And now you're ready to start what's called the knowledge check. Okay. The knowledge check is a way to personalize ALEKS for you so that it knows which problems you already know how to do and which ones you don't know how to do. And it's going to focus on going over the problems you don't know how to do, right? So in theory, if you knew all of chemistry really well and took the knowledge check, you might get 100% on it. And then it would say, hey, you're pretty much done. You can just sort of practice just to keep fresh, but you're pretty much done. Okay. So we start the knowledge check, and it's probably a good idea to have a quiet space, stay focused, don't get distracted. You may know some things, and if you do, that's going to help you here. Now, have a pen, pencil, and paper ready. Don't get help from others. Don't cheat on it. Don't have someone help you. If you have someone help you, I've seen people try that, and it causes all kinds of problems for them, and they actually end up having to get ALEKS reset. So don't do that. Just be honest with what you know and what you don't. Choose I don't know only if you don't know how to solve a problem, which is, probably most of the time you're not going to know how to solve it. And you can use this calculator anytime you want. So let's start it. I'm going to do a couple of them with you. Okay. And so the first one says a chemist weighed out 101 grams of potassium calculate the number of moles of potassium that she weighed out, round your answer to 3 significant digits. And I'm gonna say, be honest with you, I don't know. Okay, so I'm just gonna hit I don't know. It's gonna prompt you to say, are you really sure? And you say, yeah, I'm sure. I don't know how to do it. Right? I don't know how to do, you may not know how to do this. I'd be surprised if you did. If you do, that's great. Okay, same thing, you may not know any of these, right? So you may not know how to do any of these, but go through them. If you think, you don't get penalized if you get the wrong answer. Don't worry about that. The knowledge check is a requirement, and you cannot do any of the homework till you finish this knowledge check. Okay. And there we go. Let's take a look at that. And I'm just going to go through and say, look, really, I don't know how to do any of these things. And let's see what happens. It looks like it's there. It said, okay, you're done here. You don't know any of this stuff. That's fine. So this is what you're going to learn how to do. The course is broken up into, it looks like 5 different categories about atoms, ions, and molecules, chemical reactions, thermochemistry, electronic structure and bonding, and then states of matter. So, the goal of the course is for you to fill out this pie. That's one of the goals anyways. As you solve problems and get more and more of them correct, this pie will start to fill out. Be aware there are due dates, right? So you have to be aware of all that. Okay. So now it says the pie is your personal kind of report card of what you know, what you don't. If you click on one of these, it's going to tell you how many you've mastered, how many you've learned, and how many you have remaining to do. Mastery requires that you do extra practice, but learned is what you get graded on. You don't get graded on mastered. So what happens is if you get it right, if you're able to do the problem right, you get credit for learned. And then if you go back and you do it again in the future, then you get what's called mastery. But you don't get extra credit for it, except that you just get kind of more practice at doing it. Okay. So the goal is to do the learned versus remaining, and the goal, if you want to do mastery, is to do them extra times. Okay, there's a timeline. Okay, so actually, if you take a look, it says here, this is your personal timeline. As you learn topics, your marker moves up towards your goal, right? So every time you get problems right, it's going to kind of go up as you get problems done. Notice there's exams in there too. Okay. Get a quick picture of your week by week milestones. It's nice to see that kind of stuff, right? To see how you're doing on this. You'll find that as you progress through the course, you're making progress. So start my path, right? So, when in doubt, look over here on the left. The first thing that we're going to cover in this course is chapter 3. There's 22 topics and it's due January 9th. So if you're watching this before the beginning of the semester, I recommend, when you have time, start working on it. And, it's a quick pace. This is what we're doing this in 6 weeks. Okay. This shows you how many correct answers you need in a row. What happens is if you get it right, you get a point. If you get it right a second time, you get 2 more points. And if you get it right a third time, you get 2 more points and you're done with that particular problem. So you got to get it correct 3 times. Okay. So I'm going to hit next. And then you can use the explanation. It doesn't count against you. You don't get penalized. The explanations here are okay sometimes. Sometimes they're complicated and not worded well. Generally, the textbook words things a little bit better, but that's okay. Up to you. I like the explanations in ALEKS because it's just like it's right there. I can just look at it. Okay, so in this one, it says, what is the total number of oxygen atoms in the left side of the chemical equation? The left side would be over here. How many oxygens? Well, there's 3 in front of a 2, so that's 6. And then there's another one there, so it looks like there's 7. Okay, so I'm going to hit 7. I'm going to check it. And I was correct. All right. Now see what happened? I got a point up there. So I'm going to do next. Okay. It's going to be a very similar question here. What's the total number of oxygen atoms on the left side of the chemical equation? Left side. Okay. Well, there's a 4 and a 2, so that's 8. But then there's a 2 in front of that, so that's 16. This one's a little harder. 16, and then there's a 4 and a 2, so that's 8. So it looks like it's a total of 24. Let's check that one. Yes. Now I got 2 in a row, right? So now you get double credit when you get 2 in a row, which means I only got to get 1 more right. But if I get the next one wrong, it's going to take a point away and I'll have to get 2 more. Okay. So let's try that. Let's see what happens. What's the total number of oxygens on the left side? Well, let's get it wrong. This would be 6 times 2 is 12. Let's say I forgot this one over here. There's oxygen there and I put 12. Let's check that one. Okay. Sorry, see what it did? It took a point away. Oh man, that means I have to, now you can retry it. Let's retry it. Let's get it right this time. So 6, we're doing oxygen. 6 times 2 is 12 plus another 6, that's 18. So I see my mistake. Hit recheck and you get that point back. So now you just got to get one more. Okay. If you keep getting it wrong, it's going to say, hey, look, I want you to study this before you start working on it again. So let's hit next. Let's see if we can get through this topic. This is called a topic. A particular type of problem is a topic. A bunch of the topics together is called a objective. It's called an objective. So your first objective is chapter 3. Total number of oxygen atoms on the right side. Okay, so you gotta know your left from your right. So you got 3 here and another 1 there. So it looks like that's 4. Okay, so let's keep our fingers crossed. Did we get it? We don't have to cross our fingers if we know what we're doing, right? So there we go. We got it right. You get the double credit. So that means you've done it. So you hit next and woohoo. One of the topics from chapter 3 is done. We're down to 21 topics. And for the whole course, 124 topics are left. So then you hit continue my path. Okay. Now, sometimes once you start making progress on this, it's going to give you different options up here for different types of problems you can try. And you'll find that some of them are, you can do them. Some of them are locked, right? So see the little lock there? Can't work on this one yet until you make more progress. This one, on the other hand, that one you can work on. And this one right here, you can work on that one too, right? Isn't that cool? So you do have some freedom in terms of how you go. You just want to make sure everything gets done by the end or by the due dates. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come up here to our calendar. Okay. And the one criticism I have of ALEKS is that when you do the calendar, it defaults to the week. So sometimes you want to know more than a week. So I'm going to put in month here. Well, if I can. There we go. It's just my internet's a little laggy. Okay. So here we go. So if you look here, there's a bunch of stuff that you're able to work on. So actually, let's go back to 2 week there. Okay. So notice all these exams and practice exams, those are actually all available right now. You could start taking, you only get to take them once. You only get to take the exam for credit once. So, don't take it till you're ready to take it. But there you go. So now, but the practice exams you can work on, multiple times if you want to. So just kind of going forward into January 9th, see this right here under January 9th, which is a Sunday. Chapter 3 is due. So if I click on that, you've done one, I've done 1 out of 22 topics. It's due January 9th at 11:59 p.m. It's got to be done at midnight, right? You can't work on it after that. And then you have to, the next topic, the next objective comes up at that point. So that's got to be done. The next thing is that if you take a look here, see how exam 1, which is right here, I guess. Is that exam 1? Yeah, there's exam 1. See how it ends right there? It also ends Sunday, January 9th. It's due then. You got to have it done. It actually tells you how many questions there. There's 10 questions, right? So you got to work on that one as well. Okay, it's got to be done by them. Right. So then, the second exam, like exam 2, which is right here, that one's due a week later, January 16th. Exam 3 is due a week later, January 23rd. So, so forth and so on. All those exams are done. You got, looking back at the syllabus, go back, look at that syllabus, how many exams, the due dates are written there as well, but you can also use the ALEKS there. Now I'm going to come over here to see if there's anything over here. Assignments. Look at this thing called assignments here. Okay. The assignments show everything in the course, really everything in the lecture component. It shows this objective that we were just working on there. We got 1 problem done, so we're at 5%. It's got the exams here. Do not start the exam until you're ready. Don't click submit till you're ready, right? So make sure you follow all the kind of rules of taking online exams. If you accidentally submit it early, I'm sorry, I can't help you with that. You gotta do it properly. The practice exams, see how it says 0 of unlimited attempts? You can take these as many times as you want. And I made them long, 2.5 hours. They have more problems. These are optional. You know, these practice exams are optional. The exams are required, but the practice exams are optional. You don't get credit for the practice exams. It just gives you more practice, right? So, you know, I'm going to go back to the assignments list, but once you hit start, you can do the practice exams, and it's just going to help you get ready for the exams. So that's all that is. Okay. So that's pretty much it to ALEKS. There's the exams, there's the objectives, the pie, and the practice exams, right? And that's pretty much, there is access to the ebook. So if you want a really good authored book on explanations, oops, I don't know what happened there. I think we ran out of time. ALEKS does this sometimes to me. It just logs me out even if I'm working on it. Yeah, that's what happened. So it logged out, but that's fine. You can access the ebook and work on that as well. Okay, so there's your intro. Good luck with everything, and I hope it all goes well. Reach out to me if you have any questions.